Hey there, folks. I didn't mean to go this long without making another video. Again, time just keeps flying away from me. But here I am, and I'm finally gonna talk about Radiohead. You guys have been begging me to do this since I freaking had a YouTube channel, pretty much. And I have gotten a little bit more into the band ever since those years beforehand when, I don't know, like I didn't really see the appeal. I didn't really understand the hype with this band that much, honestly. But in the past few months, like the beginning of this year, I just started giving the albums a better try, a better listen, repeated listens, because sometimes it takes that. Sometimes, you listen to an album like once, and then you're like, oh, that wasn't that good, and then you never go back to it. But then you end up listening to it again, then you're like, that's kind of growing on me a little. And then again, and then it's just like, okay, I get it. What was I missing the whole time? This is actually one of my favorite albums of all time now. That's happened to me more times than I can count. That's even happened to me with some Coldplay albums, which is really weird. I did not like Head Full of Dreams that much on first listen, but I think it's one of Coldplay's best albums now. So, just my opinion on that. So, I am not a super fan of this band, even giving most of the albums a good old college try. I especially haven't really given some of the more older albums a really fair listen, so maybe I'm a bit early in making this video, but I did want to talk about the 4 albums in their discography that I'm pretty much in love with. I know 4, y'all are thinking, what a pleb, right? But I don't know, these albums just appeal to me, and they might seem kind of normie to you, but to me, I don't know, I think they're really, really good records now. So I'm just going to start with the obvious, huge one, of course, OK Computer. This is the normie one, but I've had this album for years, honestly, because, even back in the day, people talked about how OK Computer was the must-listen album, must-have album from this band. I've had this album in my collection for a long time. It wasn't until recently, though, that I've really started listening to it a lot, and it's just great the whole way through. It's a really good mix of Coldplay still playing with their early alternative rock sound, with the Bends and Pablo Honey, but starting to incorporate some of those electronics that they're kind of known for nowadays. So I think OK Computer is a good mix of the old sounds and their new sounds. So that's why I think it's still one of their best. I think that's why it stands the test of time. It's because it is a transitional album, but it's done masterfully well. This is like Blur on 13. They tried to play with it a little bit on the self-titled album, but on 13 is where they mastered it, and I think they just did a masterful job on the transitional phase with OK Computer. So I love it. I love it. I love it. Next is another normie selection, but Kid A. I absolutely love Kid A. Oh my god, this album is so amazing. Everything in its right place is one of my favorite fucking songs of all time, I think. That icy synthesizer and keyboard melody at the beginning there is just so cool. Oh, it gets stuck in my head all the time. I just picture cool-ass imagery to this song, even when I'm not listening to it. I can hear those keyboards and just picture, like, satellites and space, and it's just so fucking trippy as hell. The song National Anthem, I love the bass line on that song, so cool. Optimistic. I sing out Optimistic all the time, so loud. Oh, it's so fucking good. Oh, I love Optimistic. And Idiotechnic, I love the I don't know, I love it. I think it's great. Motion picture soundtrack is a beautiful way to end out the album. This is where they really delve hard into those electronics, but man, it's so great. I actually don't own the other 2 albums that I want to talk to you guys about, but I do hope to own them really soon. Amnesiac. Really, really love Amnesiac. I know this album is just a B-sides companion to Kid A, pretty much. All of these songs, pretty much, were recorded during the Kid A sessions, but Pyramid Song, Knives Out, the Crushed Tin Box Sardines song at the very, very beginning of this album. I love this thing. Towards the end, it does get a little choppy. I don't really like the Morning Bell version that's on this album. It feels like I'm starting a song in the middle of a song. I just don't think it sounds that great. And I do think the closer, while it's kind of cool with the jazzy influence, I do think it drags on a little bit. But still, as a whole, especially the beginning of this album, Amnesiac is really, really cool. You can definitely tell that they're songs from the Kid A sessions for sure. But I really like these tracks, a lot of them for sure. So definitely recommend Amnesiac, especially if you're a fan of Kid A. And the last album that I want to talk to you guys about is A Moon-Shaped Pool. This might be my favorite album out of all four of these that I'm talking to you guys about. Burn the Witch is an emotionally grabbing, epic song. And there's like this really kind of almost evil sensation that's happening below these really fast-moving pizzicato strings on top of this track, and it's just so cool. It's almost like if Queens of the Stone Age decided to make a song that was just with string instruments, they would come up with something sounding like this, and it's just so epic. Love Burn the Witch. Daydreaming is a beautiful song. I mean, all of the songs on this album are just gorgeous. Piano-laden melodies, really, really cool, kind of dark, minor tones. It's a great combination of beautiful and sad. And I think it's beautiful. Identikit is one of my favorite songs on this album. Dex Dark. Holy shit, Dex Dark. I could just play that song by itself constantly on repeat. This album is great the whole way through, honestly. There's not a song that I would skip on Moon-Shaped Pool. I've been listening to this album probably the most recently now, because in the beginning I didn't really like this album that much. I thought it was kind of boring, but now, God, Moon-Shaped Pool has just grown on me so much. I can't wait to own a copy of this. So, anyway, those are my four favorite radio albums that I've just really, really grown attached to in my trying to get into this band. But, based upon these four albums, I guess you can tell that my tastes are a little bit more normie when it comes to Radiohead, but what you gonna do? Which other Radiohead album should I check out based upon these selections? I do feel like I get a greatest hits package of all the sounds that Radiohead are going for in these four albums. I do feel like OK Computer is my version of listening to their more rock 90s sound, and Kid A is a great transition into their electronic music. Amnesiac is a great companion piece for Kid A, and a Moon-Shaped Pool is just a wholly different kind of sound, more acoustic, more piano driven, and I just feel like I get a great mix of all the sounds that Radiohead have played with, and I don't know, I feel like I get a whole complete package in these four albums in their discography for sure. But whatever. What other albums do you think I would like by these guys? I've given most of them a try, but maybe there's some that you think would grow on me a little bit more. I heard that In Rainbows was a pretty huge one, but whenever I try to listen to this thing the whole way through, I just personally can't really get into it. I mean, this happened with all these other albums, but I've given this one like 2 or 3 tries, and I still can't really get into In Rainbows that much. A lot of songs seem kind of forgettable to me. Anyway, just my opinion. I just wanted to come on here and talk about Radiohead a little bit since they have been on my mind recently. Looking forward to that new Gorillaz album. Still waiting. Tick tock, tick tock. Hopefully by the end of this month, we'll get something beginning of June. It's coming. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Nice to see you again. Peace and love.